more poets reading, some more Josh Forbes work before we get our next poet to the mic.
Transform my herbal.
I've already spoken of my history with Josh briefly, and I actually have a funky history, I think, with every single one of these poets. So, Alan Legba from BC, and he was the first out-of-town feature at the Pitbull Poetry Reading Series, at Poesia La Patisserie. And I had missed this feature at my home show because I was in Toronto, and it was hosted by Miranda Cross. So that's my 6 degrees of Alan. And when we look back, she showed up at Poesia La Patisserie, and I said, "Who are you?" Because I didn't recognize her. You start to get to know poetry people, poetry faces, poetry patrons, poets. And I would always make these jokes with her and say to her, "So you're going to get up on the mic, right? You're going to get up on the mic. We're going to have a freestyle session. Come on up, get on the mic." And then I recognized her as being really a poet because she actually had a book with her, had a pen with her, and I started scribbling. I would always say, "Come on, get up on the mic, get on the mic." And then one day, she did. And I run a program called Pace to Stage Productions where I teach poetry, coach poets, and I study for the Pearson. And another really on-point poet / poet appreciator / patron said to me tonight, watching Kirsten up here, she said, "She's come a long way." So there's a lot going on up in this room. There's a lot of history, there's a lot of connection, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of love. I got a lot of love for this next poet. I have to find the biography, and I have just found it. Nope, give me a second. Sorry. I already have one. Found it. The history I have with this poet is at Lock 112. Shout out for Lock 112, everybody. Thank you. At Lock 112 at the People's Poetry Festival last year, I saw this poet, and I think I saw her somewhere before. It was another one of those ribbon and harassing people. And I said, "You gotta get up on the mic, gotta get up on the mic, gotta get up on the mic." And next thing you know, I got up on the mic. When I saw her at Lock 112, she did really well. So I said, "Gotta feature myself." So I had her as a feature at the Pitbull Poetry Reading Series at Higher Ground. Let me read a little bit about her. Maya Angelou once said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Maya has unknowingly described Shawty Powell's mantra to a T. She has quickly become a staple in Calgary's poetry scene. Born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, don't hold that against her. Shawty's poetry and storytelling come from a place of personal struggle and many restless, insomniac, sleepless nights. Inspired by legendary Calgary poets, Wakefield Bruce. Thank you. And Chris Evans. There we go. Sorry, my. And gently and somewhat forcefully encouraged by poets Josh Forbes and Miranda Cross. Shawty has quickly been embraced and celebrated by many of the Calgary poetry scene. Shawty has featured at poetry events such as the Pitbull Poetry Reading Series, Wolf's Voices. Shout out for Wolf's Voices, everyone! Wolf's Voices and Single Monday Poetry Reading Series, the longest reading series in Calgary. Her poetic accomplishments continue to grow. Miranda Krogstad describes her as clever, genuine, subtle, and beautiful. Josh Forbes describes her as a persistent and welcome poetic pain in the ass. No matter how much she protests, it is clear Shawty Powell has reluctantly flourished to become a poet with a capital P. This biography, I believe, was written by Mr. Josh Forbes. I'd like to welcome her to the stage. Shawty Powell! Another thing that I just found out is we all have that lung power that we can hit the whole room. But when you use a mic, it's in the whole theater. So you decide if you want
no better way to make your bio sound good than to have a good poet write it. Thank you, Josh. I'll be recycling that for a while. Yeah, and I did meet Wakefield at Walk 112 last year, but the first event that that I met him at was the day before, and that was the first night at Higher Ground.
Oh.
And I walked in, and he did not know me and introduced me to Josie.
There you go.
And that's whom I sat with, and I haven't stopped sitting with.
Yeah.
She's hard not to sit with.
It's hard not to sit.
Especially today.
So I have 3 of Josh's poems, and the first one is actually a prequel to the second one. And the reason that, the beauty of Josh right now is that he's a captive audience. So I often ambush him. I don't tell him that I'm coming, I just show up. So I had actually, after my last feature, I told him a story about this homeless fellow that was sitting outside of Good Earth. That was where my last feature was on July 22nd. So it turns out that I know this man. But the digression from just March until just 2 weeks ago was phenomenal. I did not recognize him. And I told Josh the long story of the situation that changed how he looked 6 months ago, his last posting on Facebook, to the way that he looked at present day. And Josh had picked a couple of poems for me. And I'm going to read the prequel and then the following one. And then slide in a little love poem, because apparently that's all that poets do. And I'll slide in my rendition of a love poem and end it off with Josh, because that's why we're here. So the first one is The Story of Ridley Bowe by Josh Forbes. This is the story, life and the times, of a man named Ridley Bowe. He sits on the corner begging for change. We call him Blue Eyes Joe. Well, it's been a few years since I landed on the street, roaming from corner to corner, begging from those I meet. The summers I sleep on the grass in some rundown city park. Winter's the same, unless by fluke I can find me a sheltered spot. It wasn't always like this, though. I once had a wonderful life. I once had a job, a car, and a house, kids, and a wonderful wife. Everything changed, all went to hell after my 50th birthday. Kids were gone, life was good, and my wife Anne passed away. It happened so quickly I couldn't cope, I couldn't function at all. I lost my job, house, kids, and car by turning to alcohol. So now I sit on this dirty sidewalk with a can between my legs. My life is worthless, and who gives a damn for nickels and dimes a day? The alcohol holds me tight like a vice. It keeps me so warm in the cold, like a big fluffy blanket of sunshine, or a hello from an old friend that is old. What would they say, those kids of mine, if they saw their dad this way? If they saw the broken, dirty old man who begs on the streets all day? Would they know me under all of this dirt, long matted beard and hair? Or would they just see an alcoholic in tortured, broken, heartbroken despair? Nobody sees me as they walk by. They just toss and nibble and go. $2 and a bit is all I can get. Today has been kind of slow. They think I'm lazy, don't want to work. They don't understand that I can't. The booze has a hold in a grip so tight. With it, I can't even stand. When the day's all done, the sun's gone down, I make my way to the church. It's great they give us 1 meal a day, but depending so much on it hurts. Addictions kick in, my little world spin. I rob some guy of his booze. I sit on a bench down by the river. Figure there's nothing to lose. Nobody knows me or gives a damn. You just call me Blue Eyes Joe. You judge me without even knowing my name. My name is Ridley O. This one is the legacy of old Blue Eyes Joe. By John. He was a vagrant homeless man who stank of death and beer. He had fallen on some tougher times that looked so dark and drear. I thought I can help him out, this corpse of a man in the snow. My ways of life would change that day when I met Blue Eyes Joe. It was the cold night I met Blue Eyes. 'Twas minus 32, Winnipeg weather. I had a jacket of the warmest kind. The wind, it blew right through. It was a cold and wintry day, like only the hardest known. When the world, it seemed frozen stiff. My God, but it was cold. The city lights were dull and drear. The streets a calm, plain white. Nothing seemed to move or breathe in this bland, frozen night. The buildings of the city grand were cold and frosty gray, and the cars and trucks and lifeblood of the city were tucked away. That's how it was that very morn. As I walked along the street, I took a stroll to see the snow, hear a crackle under my feet. I stepped on him as I made my way to the corner of the road. He was lying under a frozen blanket, half buried in the snow. He didn't make a single sound, no pain or anger or fear. I thought he may be dead. I rolled him over, to be clear. His eyes, they opened what they could. Lashes froze together. His beard was dirty, matted black. He would die out in this weather. Blue Eyes Joe was quite well known by all who lived round here. He sat on these corners begging for change for many, many years. He had these piercing, ghostly eyes that sent shivers through my bones. Eyes that were of the bluest kind, could see right through your soul. I lifted up his frozen arms and propped him up to sit. Then I coaxed him into standing up and walked around a bit. He said, "It isn't needed, friend. Please leave me alone. I was drifting off when you came by. I almost made it home. I was dreaming of a soft, warm place, a place I used to know, a place with sand and surf and sun, where weather doesn't go. I dreamed of a house with a picket fence and curtains in the window. I was walking home to my lovely Anne. She loved me long ago. I said, "I'm sorry, Joe. I thought you needed help. I thought you would surely freeze to death out here all by yourself." Joe looked at me and squinted. My God, he looked half dead. With frostbit cheeks and chapped lips, this is what he said. "Why is it on the coldest day you want to get involved? You people come with food and warmth and think that all is solved. I appreciate everything, friend, don't get me wrong, but it isn't just the cold days. I am homeless all year long." All year long you walk by as I sit here on the street. I have lowered myself, begging, a tin cup between my feet. I go hungry many nights as you just pass on by. But here, on the coldest day, you need to help me. Why? I could not answer, Blue-Eyes Joe, as we stood there in the street. I just looked at him, his matted hair, hole-filled boots on his feet. I went on home to my place as I thought of what he said. A few days went by before I heard Blue-Eyes Joe was dead. He had froze to death, I heard it said, last night out in the park, all alone under the snow in the cold, wintry dark. Blue Eyes is gone, but it wasn't long before someone filled his spot. Another dirty, homeless man begging on the sand. Now I try to do just what I can. A lot of money I have not. But I take him food in winter and cold. And cold water when it is hot. He was a vagrant, homeless man who stank of death and beer. He had fallen on some tougher times that looked so dark and drear. I thought I could help him out, this corpse of a man in the snow. My ways of life would change that day when I met Blue-Eyes Joe. I'll just lighten it up for a second with my rendition of, yes, air quotes, love poem. Actually, not a love poem. And it's in two short parts. Part one. The manifestation of thought materialized to form being. The playful daydream of wonderment and fantasy into existence of possibility. Are you for real? In what capacity? Alive by my creation, death by reality. Part two. You surprised me, or rather I surprised myself. I preach open-mindedness, yet I judge your exterior stereotypically. I mistook your kindness as a script for the job and your playful flirt as means of gratuity bestowed on female possibilities. I apologize where I was wrong, weakened by my insecurities where I'm generally strong. Once proclaiming death by reality, your realness surprised me, now my living fantasy. A chrysalis hides your painted skin, yet not to emerge a butterfly, but possible, penguin. And now we'll end it, as we would, with Josh Forbes. I actually heard this poem the first time at Lot 112 last year, and he was paired with an artist with this very poem called We Will Remember You. I will stand at attention with my head held high as those maple leaf jets pass so high, catching everyone's attention in that north sky, and I will remember you. I will stand shoulder to shoulder in the faceless crowd, listen to your friends speak brave and proud of what you endured on that blood-stained ground, and I will remember you. I will think of those who didn't come home, those who did but weren't alone, for they brought back traumas worse than broken bone, and I will remember you. I will think of the life you afforded me here as I tell my son of your bravery and fear, how I hold your tragic accomplishment dear, and I will remember you. I will honor your life and your courageous fight by always standing guard against that cold, dark night. I have picked up and carried your light, for I will remember you. It was not failing hands that threw the torch of hope and courage true. It was hands of the fathers and brothers and sons who handed the torch to someone new. And we will remember you. For we know what you gave, what you sacrificed, so that we, your children, can have better lives, free from torment with freedom and rights. And we will remember you. Because you fought for those after you, we continue to fight for what's good and what's true. We have picked up your torch with courage new, for now it is we who fight for you.
Everyone, thank you again. Let's show the power. Guys? Okay. I guess I don't need the mic. It can be heard. So put that down where it's safe. Let's look at the next poet that we have coming up. Every time this poet comes up or comes near a microphone, I tell everyone to break out your thesaurus. That's the kind of language I have come to expect and really love from this particular poet. Let me read a few words. Please. A silent admirer of the spoken word scene for years, she finally and somewhat reluctantly made her debut in early 2018. Her writing doesn't tend to follow any specific theme, but instead just reflects whatever has piqued her interest in the moment. She enjoys playing with vocabulary, and her writing often contains words of the sesquipedalian? I can't read it, it's too small.
What does it mean? Wordy?
Of the wordy type. Just say so. It's hard to see this. Kirsten has a deep appreciation for the fine arts and has been taking part in various forms of it since she was a child. Everyone, please welcome Kirsten Sonnenberg! Come on down. Kirsten, you might walk the mic. Check.
I don't know. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good.
All right.
Here. Yeah, thank you. Hi, thank you all for coming out tonight. Oh, it's so great to see such a great crowd. Woo! So my name is Kirsten Sonnenberg, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read something by Josh Forbes here, and then I'm gonna read a couple of my own, and then cap off the night with another piece by Josh Forbes. So this first piece by Josh is called The Morning Show. Have you ever sat in a lawn chair in the very early morn, quietly watched the beauty of a brand new day being born, listening to the waves gently lapping on some boulders, hot chocolate warming your hands, favorite blanket round your shoulders, throw a fresh log on the fire and take your seat again. The show you have been waiting for is ready to begin. A fish jumps in the darkness, the splash echoes across the lake, the loon 3 days down lets you know she's now awake. The sunrise takes its time and rises very slow. Its beauty and its splendor gives you a special show. You sit and watch intently, not wanting to miss a thing. From somewhere deep within the forest, you hear a songbird sing. The sun starts branching out, bright yellow, orange, and pink. You nestle back into your blanket, enjoying not having to think. The sunbeams jump and dance, making their way across the sky. A squirrel chatters, "Good morning," from within a tree nearby. You know you're someone special. This show is just for you. Then all too often and all too quickly, your morning shows through. You stay nestled in your blanket beside the crackling fire. You realize you've got it good. There's nothing else that you desire. Except now your tummy rumbles just a little bit at first. You scramble up some breakfast and quench your morning thirst. You're glad you were alone, no one else to share the show. Your heart begins to smile for the secret of life you know. So when Josh asked me to do this piece, I shouldn't really assume, but I'm going to anyway. I assumed it was because I have a tendency to write and read a lot of nature-themed poetry, so I thought it would be appropriate to share a couple of my own pieces there, maybe kind of sneak an unrelated one in there, and then end the night on another piece by Josh Forbes. So this next piece I'm doing, this piece of mine I'm doing, it's called Dandelion Seed.
All right.
Wispy white hair disengaged from your dwelling by the breath of a child and pulled away aimlessly by the hands of the wind. Where will you go, little dandelion seed? What knowledge will you obtain on your precipitate peregrination? Will you drift past the irascible goose, hissing and lurching at an adventuresome varmint who dare trespass onto her domain? And will you linger near her nest, winking covertly at the inquisitive goslings as they ingest the dream wonders? Will you flit beneath the vaulted mallard, squawking warnings to his brethren, the wind murmuring melodies through his wings as he soars? Or will you tease the river, its waves a fractious child, jabbing and grasping at those unable to conquer its temper? Will you cruise beside the barrow's golden eye, the frigid water caressing his slick tuxedo in a cloak of contentment? Will you scrutinize the stones upon the river bank, marbled from years of soppy shellackings fitting felicitously into youthful palms? Will you waft towards the pompous robin perched upon the archaic tree, his flaming chest puffed out with pride as he reminds ramblers to cheer up, cheer up? Will you surreptitiously slip by the spider, her lustrous web glistening with ambiguous pearls, tempting foolish victims with its allure? Will you breeze by the butterfly, the dragonfly, and other fair folk, their kaleidoscopic wings gleaming with enchantment? Will you ultimately settle upon the virtuous hill, for your soft-run relatives are yearning for you to embed yourself and shroud the grass in gold galore? So this next piece I'm doing is called The Arrival, and it's actually a spring-related piece, and I know it's just about fall, but we didn't really get much of a spring, so we'll just consider this a consolation prize. That's my excuse there.
Yeah.
When the sun pulls back its opaque quilt, its keen face ready to greet buoyant early risers, and the morning bird chirps blithely, eager for the scrumptious critters lured out by the wind's warm breath. When dew disperses across the meadow lush and verdant, leaving iridescent kisses in its wake, and plants rouse from their protracted slumber, offering forward infant growths to be held by the sun's doting hands. When the cat squints towards the east, absorbing the essence, a jackrabbit sheds its milky jacket, donning instead a natural coloration much preferred by Mother Gaia. When rain saturates the land in a moist, metallic smell, and the cloud giants come out to play, their rumbling laughter reverberating through the sky. When powdery chalk merges with murky puddles, concocting chromatic cocktails and coating rubber boots in liquid happiness. When maternal voices neglect to nab children at curfew and squeals of juvenile jubilance resonate through the still, brightly lit night, that is when you know spring has finally arrived. Now I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This is a little bit different than what I've been tending to write about lately. This is one of my earlier pieces, and it's a tongue-in-cheek piece dedicated to those caregivers, teachers, nannies, whatever that we hopefully never had. This is imaginatively called Preschool Teacher. Dear preschool teacher, daycare teacher, educator, cultivator of children's minds, tell me, why did you decide that teacher was synonymous with drill sergeant? Why you treat children like subordinates and greet parents with a Stepford smile? Dear authoritarian, disciplinarian, mentor, and guide, can you confide to me why the color drains from every child you mind? For surely they've done something horrendous if that's the response you inspire. That is horrendously mild, for every sneaky smile or minor mule or altercation or confrontation causes you to explode, enveloping them in a barrage of shrapnel, for how dare they not attend to their own dilemmas and instead force you to do the job you're supposed to do. Listen, angelic perfection perfection is unexpected. Toddler wrangling can be a demanding profession and slip-ups are only human. But your humanity has slipped out of you entirely, been replaced with hostility and apathy. Geez, it's you who seems to be the petulant child, perpetually pitching fits, pinching nerves because you deserve no. You demand respect in this domain. These imps gotta learn their place, and in order to preserve your rank, you sometimes have to take drastic measures. Thundering voice, bulging eyes, a beleaguered sigh, and gripping wrists a little too tight. It's not like those years of college provided you with the knowledge on what to do with these ethereal beings seeking only a guiding hand and a warm heart. You know, I mean, the only guiding your hand could do is towards their art, ripping projects from their grips and nitpicking little slip-ups and regluing and recoloring when they look away and destroying their individuality in order to abide by your conformity. I mean, it's not as if their parents are any wiser after all. They stand there admiring crafts arranged uniformly on the wall while you assure them that it's true that their little one did that with no help from you. The parents' trust in you is evident as they bundle you in a blanket of compliments, confident that your money well spent, that you spend your time concocting rhymes and enriching minds, that you mind for every word, every action, that your satisfaction is gained from the unadulterated good that you do. If only they knew that the most wholesome thing about you is the hole you pulled your heart out through, transforming you into a fairy tale villain, luring in children with your poison apple ploys and gingerbread house lies, saccharine on the outside, but once inside they're exposed to the flames of your everlasting agitation, a constant consternation that never settles even when they do. When the blinds are closed, and the lights dim below, and the children lay their heads down to sleep, still the calmness of nap time brings you no relief, for every flinch, every whine, every mutter, every cry only fuels your inferno. But how do you expect them to close their eyes when your lullabies or battle cries of "Be quiet!" reverberating through their minds, leaving behind echoes that never retire? Like you. Thank you so much. You guys have been an awesome audience so far. I'm going to end this set on another piece by Josh Forbes titled "The Ballad of the Man with the Glassy Stare." This is the story told to me by the man with the glassy stare as he traveled on the city bus headed for God knows where. I asked him if he could tell me how he came to lose his eyes, and the story that he told me sent chills running down my spine. He turned to me with that glassy stare and said, "It's a hell of a thing. I was riding on the number 1 in May of last year's spring. I settled in and took my seat on that very busy bus. The man stared at me the whole ride home from the seat across. He stared at me and stared at me. It was bearing on my nerves. I would turn away and then back again, but his stare was undisturbed. How dare you sit and judge me," I thought to the man upon the bus. "What gives you the right to sit and stare and judge the rest of us? I was wearing dirty clothes and his were neat and clean. Mine were ragged from hard honest work that he had never seen. He had a leather briefcase, which indicates a man of power. He looked embarrassed to have to share the bus with me for half an hour. I was certain he was arrogant the way he kept on staring. The kind of guy no one likes. He's rude and overbearing, quick to judge and holds a grudge and always thinks he's better than those who have to share his bus and ride it all together. A man like that, he cannot see, although he has his eyes. He can only see the surface. He cannot see inside. He cannot see my kindness. He cannot at all see me. A man who sits and judges does not deserve to see." So he stared at me the whole ride home until we reached a stop, and that is when I lost my sight when I watched the man get off. He stood and opened up his briefcase by his side, producing a long white folding cane. The staring man was blind. He turned to me with that glassy stare and said, "It's a hell of a thing. I haven't seen a single thing since that day of last year's spring. But the Lord knows what he's doing, and my lesson it may be, a man who sits and judges does not deserve to see."
Yeah. Everyone, keep it going. Kirsten's on the bird. I'd like to say that it really felt that you embodied Josh Forbes in that poem. Shannon has just said, "She's doing a fucking good So yeah, that was really awesome. Guys, you've heard from the man himself, Josh Forbes. You've heard from Alan Langbaum. You've heard from Kirsten Sonnenberg. We have 6 more poets to go, so let's take a short break. Guys, in this break, in this meantime, it's not preschool, but talk to someone you don't know. Okay? See you in a few. Thank you.
So I'll talk to myself.